Hey, welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and today we're talking 10 ways to save money on your next cruise. And these ways will work for almost every cruise line that sails here in the US and even lines that sail around the world. And I bet you haven't heard number 5 yet. I'm just saying. Let's talk about my first way to save money on your next cruise, and that's by booking a guaranteed cabin. If you're not familiar with what a guaranteed cabin is, it's when the cruise line assigns you a cabin instead of you picking it out yourself. Anyone who's looked at booking a cruise before will know the cheapest cabin on the ship is always the guaranteed cabin type. And to be quite honest with you, the first time I ever cruised, I got caught up in the allure of maybe getting a nicer cabin than I was paying for. And guess what? For me, it worked out. I ended up booking a guaranteed balcony cabin on board the Carnival Liberty, and lo and behold, when I got my assignment, I received a double-sized premium balcony out of the deal. Pretty sweet if you ask me. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes the guaranteed cabin type will work out for you in a very big way. But don't forget, it can also work out the other way, and you could end up in like a connecting room next to the engine on the ship and not sleep or get any rest at all during your cruise. And guess what? You don't have much recourse if that happens to you. But if saving 50 or $100 on your next cruise is something that's really important, a guaranteed cabin is a great way to do just that. Now, the second way you can save money on your next cruise is by eating at the specialty restaurants during breakfast or lunch. If you do a little bit of research, you might learn that a lot of the paid specialty dining options on most major cruise lines are often open for lunch and sometimes even breakfast. And they're usually free or heavily discounted during those off-peak times. So that's a great way to try out maybe the Italian restaurant on board your next cruise ship. And you'll get a free pasta lunch instead of waiting till dinner and paying like $20. Or you might even head to the steakhouse for that half-price filet. All right, let's talk about the third way to save money on your next cruise, and that's by taking advantage of the alcohol policy as it relates to bringing your own on board with you. Yeah, we're talking about bringing your own. And we're not talking about those people who refill and recork wine bottles full of hard liquor, or they bring them in their suitcases and rum runners. No, we're not talking about sneaking or smuggling alcohol on the cruise. Yes, it is a way. Yes, it often does work, but no. You're not supposed to do that, and I don't condone you trying it here. But I am talking about the cruise lines whose policies are in place to allow you to bring your own wine or champagne on board the ship with you. Most cruise lines allow you to bring in your carry-on luggage a bottle or two per stateroom. And while we won't get into specifics here per cruise line, just know this is a great way to bring a little extra vino with you or some bubbly along that you can enjoy in your stateroom. Before we get into our fourth way to save money on your next cruise, I'd like to take a quick second to invite you to subscribe to this channel. All right, back to the topic at hand. The fourth way to save money on your next cruise is to plan to use onboard services like the spa on a port day. Typically speaking, the ship is much less busy when it's in port, and that means that the crew on board are looking for reasons to get you to spend money, especially since the onboard shops and the casino are typically closed when you're in port. The cruise line really wants to find a way to hold you upside down and shake you till a few more dollars fall out of your pocket, and that typically comes in the form of spa discounts. So if you're a spa user or you're just curious about using the spa, this might be a great way to score a facial or a massage, and typically if you book it on a port day, you usually score a pretty hefty discount on those services. Now, my fifth recommendation for saving money on your next cruise is cruise line specific to Carnival, but it's one that I recently learned of, and I really haven't heard anybody here on YouTube talking about it quite yet. And that tip is to use the happy hour promotions that Carnival runs at the Red Frog Rum Pub. Typically speaking, on your embarkation day in the middle of the afternoon, the Red Frog Rum venue on a Carnival ship will run a random happy hour. It usually lasts about 2 hours time. Now, you'll have to check your cruise planner or the application on your cell phone when you check in for your cruise, but typically when you go to the Red Frog bar, you're greeted with fantastic savings for your drinks. It's a great way to save money over getting the traditional drinks package because, like every 10 to 15 minutes, Carnival will allow you to buy up to 4 canned beverages like beers, or hard ciders, and they only charge you like $3 a can for these drinks. And you can buy up to 24 cans throughout the course of a happy hour, which you can just take up to your cabin and store in the fridge. Carnival will also sell you $10 pitchers during happy hour, which is usually the way I go. I'll typically buy 2 pitchers, ask them to cover them with saran wrap, and I store them up in my refrigerator in the cabin. That means I have a pitcher a day for the first 2 days of my cruise, and then I do it again at the next happy hour. Plus, I usually bring some beers up on top of that. You know, it's a couple bucks, and it's a great way to save some money over getting that $60 a day drink package. And usually, like I said, there's more than one happy hour throughout your cruise. Typically, the second happy hour occurs during a port stop, so you'll want to check your cruise planner to find out when it is. Okay, moving on to my 6th recommendation to save money on your next cruise. Did you know that you can use the showers in the spa? Even if you don't have a spa pass. That's right, if you're staying in a busy cabin, you're in a hurry to get ready, or just don't like sharing a shower with whomever you're cruising with, head on over to the spa and they have public showers. And one of the best things about it is they're way bigger than the shower that you'll find in your cruise cabin. So if you're a taller or larger cruiser, like my friend who just stayed with me, he's like almost 7 feet tall. Yeah, I can guarantee you he doesn't like showering in his cruise cabin. Well, for a cruiser like him, the spa on board the cruise ship would be a fantastic place to take a shower. And while you're in there, a lot of cruise lines also let you use things like the sauna for no additional charge. So it's a great way to have a little bit more of a spa-like zen relaxation experience while you freshen up on your next cruise. Now, my 7th recommendation for saving money on your next cruise is to actually stay on board the ship while you're in port. If you've been there a few times, say for instance, you've cruised into Nassau, Bahamas, on every cruise you've ever taken, like most cruisers, and you've done everything that you'd like to do in port, well, consider staying on board the ship and keeping a few dollars in your pocket. Use the drinks package that you already bought and paid for. Eat the food that you paid for as your cruise fare. Okay, the 8th way you can save money on your next cruise is when you're feeling a little bit of motion sickness. Did you know that if you just head down to guest services or the ship's sick bay, they'll often give you free Dramamine or a generic version of it for no charge? Yeah, it's a great way to get yourself feeling a little better if the seasickness wristbands or the behind the ear patches just aren't working for you. You know about the wristbands and the patches, right? Well, if you didn't, you should check out my Amazon affiliate store. Everything in there ships on Amazon Prime, and it's a great way to help support this channel and my work by gearing up with some amazing things for your next cruise. Fresh t-shirt designs like this one, Cruiser, or any of the other dozen or so designs I've made in there myself. Plus, like I said, the seasickness wristbands, patches, it's all in there. Just check out the link in the description below and tap on that Professional Cruisers tab. And if you're a newbie cruiser, there's a spot for you as well. Now, let's get to my 9th way to save money on your next cruise. And this is a tip if you're cruising Carnival or Royal Caribbean, and your cruise has to be like 4 or 5 days or longer. They're gonna have a lobster tail night on that cruise, and you don't wanna miss it, especially if you like lobster or you're just curious. Now, everyone knows you can pretty much always order lobster tail in the main dining room, but it costs extra, like 15 or 20 bucks extra. But if you didn't already know, the cruise line will give you free lobster tails, and as many as you can eat, one night in the main dining room. So make sure you don't miss out on lobster tail night on your next cruise, like I did on my first Royal and Carnival cruise, and that was a rookie mistake. All you have to do is ask your table server or the person at the host station or hostess station in the restaurant when lobster tail night is. Ugh, now I'm thinking about lobster and drawn butter. All right, my 10th way to save money on your next cruise is, did you know there's often a cafe or coffee area on board your ship that has free grab-and-go snacks? Now, I'm not talking about like the bottled drinks like the Gatorades or the Starbucks drinks that are in the fridge there. No, but usually there's sandwiches, desserts, finger foods, maybe even pizza slices, and they're all waiting for you to just reach out and grab them and take them away. They don't cost a thing. So if you're getting ready to head out on an excursion, you think you might have a little rumble in your tummy in an hour or so, it's worth taking a quick walk down to the ship's cafe to grab yourself a little free snack at the grab-and-go counter. And lucky you, I brought a bonus 11th recommendation to save money on your next cruise, and that's to book. during wave season. Now, if you've never heard about wave season or don't know what it is, it's not like a specific date range, but usually it runs like the second week of January through the second or third week of March, and this is when the cruise lines give you your best discounts and promotions, typically speaking. And you'll often get the best discounts if you're willing to book with some flexibility, especially with your dates in mind. So for instance, you're not going to get the best prices if you're booking a spring break, a summer break, or like a Christmas cruise. You'll get a much more affordably priced cruise itinerary if you book in the off seasons, kind of between those times I just listed. And to go along with this recommendation, it's always smart that you book your cruise with a professional travel agent, like a really good one, because it's their job to get the best rate for you, and a really good travel agent will also track the rate that you paid and see if they can save you more money in the weeks or months leading up to your cruise. And you can do that yourself if you set some price alerts. Just Google track cruise price alerts. It's a great way to save some money and get the best available rate on your ship. So there you go, those are my top 10 plus 1 recommendations for saving money on your next cruise. How many of them have you used before? And did you maybe learn one or two that you didn't know before you watched this video? Let me know in the comments below this video. And one more time, I would love to invite you to subscribe and join the Midships family. Yeah, that subscribe button and that thumbs up button, just tap on those for me. Thanks for stopping by the channel today, and until next time, we'll see ya on the Midships.
La 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 la